Hi there, welcome back to Mo's Garage. So today we're going to have an exciting episode regarding my favorite subject, weather stripping. So anyway, the car does not have any weather stripping on it right now, and last time we ran it, it rattled quite a bit. So we're going to talk about the installation of the weather stripping here. We have a weather stripping that goes around the trunk, the hood, but does not go all the way around, so that's kind of interesting. And there's another piece of weather stripping that goes behind that kind of gets glued in place. It's got a little double-sided sticky that goes, I believe, between the this kind of weather stripping here that goes around here and the back here. We're going to talk about the installation of the weather stripping around the door, which is done already on the passenger side, but we will be doing that on the driver's side also. And we'll be kind of figuring out what's going on with our back weather stripping, which is already installed, but somehow this part isn't. And I'm thinking maybe we need to put some weather stripping cement in that location, so it doesn't do exactly that. So that's going to be the depth and breadth of our little video today. So hopefully this is good information, and hopefully I will enjoy doing this. I must admit, the weather stripping around the door was quite challenging, mainly because there's a lot of areas. This is a press-on type thing, pretty similar to this actually. If you notice, this this weather stripping has a little area where you just kind of press it on the channel. Well, everything works well up until the fact that the channel becomes double wide or something, due to a joint or something, and then all of a sudden that little press-on guide becomes quite difficult to deal with. So anyway, all the fun things you learn. So we will then get with it and start putting some of this weather stripping in. I think I'm going to start off with the radiator, and the radiator weather stripping is actually a pretty decent fit. Here is kind of a little extra piece. And I'd noticed that you could almost just pop it in here and leave it, because I mean, it takes a little bit of effort to put it in. But I'm thinking I may just put a little bit of weather stripping glue at the bottom just to make sure it does not go anywhere. So yeah, that'll be our first part, and then we'll get the stuff around the hood sorted, and then the trunk, and then we'll look at the doors. Okay, awesome. Okay, first step, we're going to put the radiator gasket in, or I guess weather stripping. I already put a little bit of 3M weather stripping glue on both surfaces, and verified that the direction it's pointing. So we'll get this thing going over here. And that looks pretty consistent, so I think we're good in that department. So that's that. So the next thing, we're going to go ahead and put the weather stripping at the back end of the car. So, okay, so I've got the weather stripping kind of centered. So really the next step is going to be to try to get this in the right location, and make sure it kind of looks like it's supposed to go where it's supposed to be. We'll check it out. So part of me is tempted just to kind of not bang it in, if at all possible, and just kind of just temporarily just put it in and see where we end up at. Okay, so good news, looks like I've got the weather stripping kind of centered. So go grab a rubber mallet real quick and we'll start pounding it in. Okay, let's get the other side in here. So we'll continue it around. Now, funny enough, we have a little bit of an issue over here where we have some doubling up of the seams. So. Okay, good. So that's that. Awesome. Okay, so for the installation of the last bit of weather stripping behind the hood, I went ahead and got the hood tied back as high as it will go up onto one of the garage supports. That way it opens up the channel as much as possible. So we'll start at the other end and we'll kind of work our way over here, and hopefully that will conclude all the weather stripping for the hood. So we'll see how this goes. Hopefully well. Now for the other side. Okay, that's it. We will cut it off at that location. I'm not 100% certain what this does, but I'm sure there's a reason for having it here. And we'll go ahead and just get it nicely pressed down. And voila, that's done. Awesome. Okay, so really, we had also discussed about the weather stripping here in the back. Basically, this piece here was kind of loose. So what I ended up doing is I ended up just putting some weather stripping glue between this piece and this piece over here. And I only really ran it for about this much. I didn't actually glue the whole entire thing in. So we'll see how that's going to hold. So, and I did it on both sides. So as you can see, so we'll see how it works. I mean, I really couldn't figure out how else to do this. And I didn't even let it cure, actually, because normally what you do is just glue. Is you put glue on both sides, let it cure for a second, then put them together. Well, in this case, it had been kind of tough to do that. So I actually just put a liberal amount of weather stripping glue on this piece, stuck it in there. It kind of holds it, this gasket kind of holds it in place. And now it's nice and dry. And so I've already opened up this, the boot, the hatchback really in this case, a couple times, and it seems to be okay. One thing I was going to mention while down here, I did figure out my cover back here, and what I ended up doing is I did actually still use the aluminum plate, put some old fiberglass battens over here to kind of get the spacing, and I actually put a couple of like little rubber discs here and here. And actually, I think it's going to work out pretty good. So, yeah. I do have to figure out some kind of handle for it, and I'm most likely going to end up putting some kind of contact cement and kind of gluing that down. But no, yeah, that's pretty happy with that also. And also, while I'm at it, I did also back here install the seat belts for the car. So I did not do a video on the seatbelt. Basically what ended up happening is that this has a special adapter for the MGB GT that kind of puts it over the wheel wells. There is this little dude right here. Basically you kind of spin it around. That's what you follow the instructions, and that's what actually causes the seatbelt to kind of lock and unlock. So yeah, so basically for the 3-point seatbelt, this is the back, and open the door real quick. I went ahead and installed more modern seatbelts. There's a little stem over there, and then this is the other attachment point for the seatbelt. that goes across your lap and your shoulder. Yeah, it worked out pretty nice. Ended up buying them off Rimmer Brothers from the UK, so it was actually cheaper than what's available here. Actually, even with the shipping, which wasn't actually cheap, believe it or not. So, I have ordered a seatbelt guide because basically what ends up happening is that the seatbelt itself kind of goes over the as you pull it up. Kind of goes over your shoulder that way. So there's a little plastic guide that you can order that goes in here that kind of keeps it in place. So yeah, we'll see. Okay, cool, awesome. So the trick to cutting this is using a pair of tin snips. And so the trick is to basically cut the 45 on the rubber and then on this other piece. And this piece has some metal pieces inside that pretty much kind of used to grab hold of that metal rail. So let's give this a whirl. Okay, so 45 is this way. Okay, this is the way the 45 needs to go. So we'll cut it. Okay, so here we have the 45-degree cut. We have, this will go in this way. And what we can do now, we can just grab these little pieces out here and take them out. So that's it, voila. Okay, so we've got the 45. So 45 coming up in this way. The other 45 will go in. So first step is to kind of get this pushed in. And I said it's a little easier right at the beginning when you have the single layer of metal, but it can be kind of challenging. I will say it is tempting to bash this in right off the bat with a rubber mallet, but one thing I did find out that unfortunately this stuff can very easily break. So the more you can do with your hands, the better. If it gets a little ignorant and you start bashing it with a rubber mallet, then what happens is that you actually end up breaking the weather stripping, which is not good. Now at this point in time, what you can't see is that on the inside, we have the body panels. Now I did loosen them up so we can get in slightly behind here. Okay. Okay, so next step is to try to get it through this little area here. There it goes. Okay, so as discussed, I went ahead and took a little bit of carpet out over here. As you can see, this right here is 3 layers of sheet metal, so it's going to have a really hard time to get the rubber in there. So the trick is I found on the other side is I have a chisel, and basically what I do is I basically try to insert the chisel in the slot here, and to kind of stretch it out. So unfortunately, I'm kind of holding the camera with one hand and the other. Basically, what you do is if I pop the chisel in there, what it does, it kind of opens up that metal part I was telling you about. So if you look at the end here, there's kind of that groove. It opens that groove up a little bit, so it'll actually accept the multiple layers of sheet metal. As I said before, if you try to beat it in there with a hammer, it doesn't work. You just basically end up ruining the whole thing. Trust me, I'm talking from experience on this. So again, if you try to get the chisel in there and kind of open up that gap a little bit, then everything works out a little bit better. So anyhow, I'm not going to take this next part because I'm going to be pretty much in the way. So, but what I need to do is I need to open up that gap all the way from here to really the end over there where it jumps up and goes up the rest of the wall. And I may actually even have to do it over here because you can see the multiple layers of sheet metal at that location too. And as I said, this unfortunately this rubber gasket really, or rather rubber weather stripping, really does not like to go over more than one. So okay, here we go. Okay, so I've got the weather stripping down. It took a little bit of effort. I said you got really massage it with that chisel. And then the other kind of weird location was over here. So now it's just, hopefully it's just a simple case of just following pretty much a single piece of sheet metal the way around and cutting that 45. So anyway, so we'll go ahead and do that. Okay, so I've got the weather stripping installed all the way around, and to this point here, now the fun part is trying to figure out how to get that 45 to be perfect. So yeah, we will give it a whirl there with the tin snips and hope for the best. Awesome. And voila, she is done. So, okay, so that I think concludes my videos for the weather stripping on the car. So hopefully you enjoyed this. If you want to see similar content, please hit subscribe down below. And if you liked the video, please let me know by giving me a big thumbs up. Anyway, we'll catch you next time, and have a great one. Take care. Bye-bye. If you like this video, hit subscribe and give us a big like down below. Thanks for watching.